Why is it that you are putting in the work, you're making the calls, and you're generating the leads, but you still feel stuck in your real estate business? Because here's the truth. Most people are not stuck because of the market, but it's something that they really don't see inside of their business that they need to fix. I remember when I first began scaling my real estate company, I've had 50 contracts literally in 1 month, but we only closed 3 deals. And that month right there taught me the very valuable lesson and changed everything that I do in my business and how I operate today. So in this episode, I'm gonna be breaking down the real reason why you're inconsistent, the thing that nobody teaches, and why once you fix it, your income doesn't only increase, but it stabilizes. And trust me, it's not more leads, it's not more marketing, it's not cold calling harder, it's something deeper than that, and you're gonna see it in the first 5 minutes. Let's jump into the conversation. Welcome to today's conversation. If you have never been on this podcast before, my name is Lacedrick Brantley, and I have here as a special co-host right here, my guy, Kenneth Williams. This is actually one of my very first mentors, y'all, and he is actually the reason why I've made $1 million to this day.
Oh, man, stop all that, man.
Absolutely.
There you go. There you go.
Meet my guy, Kenneth Williams. He's a pastor. He's an owner of GBC, Genesis Business Collective, y'all. Not only a pastor, but a business coach, a mentor, a father, a husband, everything that you can name of. So let's go ahead and jump into the conversation.
Let's do it, man.
All right. How you doing today? I'm glad you're here.
I'm good. I'm glad to be here, man. This is exciting, man.
Absolutely.
Congratulations on your forum, bro.
Absolutely.
Yes,
this
sir.
is going to be a great conversation here today.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I have seen is more people say, hey, if I get more leads, then I'll make more money, right? And one of the things that I broke down on one of the classes that I taught here is that more leads does not equal more money, does not equal more revenue. This is one of the things that keep people stuck, actually, if they don't know how to convert. So in the journey of sales, like you've been in this like 20 plus years, if I'm not mistaken, what have you saw that business owners make a mistake of when they do get leads and they try to scale up with more leads?
Yeah, man, that's a great question. I would say probably most people, most companies, they really don't need more leads.
Yeah.
Really what they need is to maximize the leads that they have. A good example of that is, do you have a follow-up system? Are you touching these leads a minimum of 5 times? Or do you have them categorized as a warm lead, hot lead, or cold lead? What kind of correspondence are you giving out to these leads? What's your messaging in those leads, et cetera, et cetera. And I can go on and on and on, right? But the truth of it is, man, you don't need more. You need to maximize what you have.
Yeah.
I think I heard you say this one time, and I thought it was very profound. And now I became the student and you the teacher. But I really like what you said. You said to me that, you've noticed that most people don't understand the value of one lead.
Yeah.
The value of one lead. I love that, man, because that's the truth.
Yeah, that's true.
They don't know the value of it.
Yeah. And in my business, like real estate, every single lead equals $22,000. Like our average assignment
I love
fee
that.
is literally $22,000.
Yeah.
So like most people don't maximize this one lead in one conversation. Like I have like one of my students, her name is Sativa. She literally came to me 2 years ago, joined my community, and she was like, hey, I'm in the point of like learning real estate, taught her what she needed to know. Then one day she came to me and she was like, hey, it's like 3 months ago. She was like, hey, I literally have a problem with closing deals now. Like right now I cannot close a deal to save my life. And I said, okay, well, let's look at your system. Let's break it open and look at every single thing that you're doing in there. And when we looked, no notes, no follow-up. Last lead she touched base with was like a week ago. Like she had no system for this. So in this case, I'm like, well, if you have this pipeline and we know what each lead is worth, why not go back and maximize this lead and have the conversation with them and put in a follow-up system behind that, right? Most people don't have a follow-up system in my business.
Yeah.
And I don't get it. I literally don't get it.
I think that's the $1 million change, if you will.
Yeah.
Because most people are taught how to go get a lead, but they have not been taught how to maximize the lead. And so what I'm hearing you say is, even in the real estate game, as I've seen in coaching, the hundreds of businesses that I've been able to coach, that you really don't, that means that you don't have a system that actually monitors the KPIs of your lead. If you have a system that monitors your KPIs, which means what is the behavior of that lead?
Yeah.
And now I'm probably getting a little bit too deep there.
Yeah.
But what is the behavior of that lead, right? Are you tracking the behaviors of those contracts?
Yeah.
Because each contract is its own animal, right? I'm just guessing that because as I mentioned, this is what we see a lot.
Yeah.
Most people don't have these kinds of things. So you just gave real game right there, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So in this right here, like with maximizing this lead, let's talk about like what does it look like to maximize a lead? Like in our instance right here, when we went through her pipeline, what I've noticed is that she does not keep track of motivation. Like, all right, when a lead comes in, is this lead hot? Is it warm? Is it cold? And when you did talk to them, what was like the motivation level? Like if you had to think about it like a 1 through 10, you know how we ask people, hey, how bad is your house 1 through 10?
Yeah.
Wait, like when you're thinking about, hey, when you ask them, hey, why did I want to sell? Why do you want to sell? What was the motivation score on that? Like, was it really low? Were they a price motivated seller, or were they like somebody who really was motivated? They had a situation where like they needed to move out of. Like we always say that they're either moving away from pain or towards pleasure.
Wow. So
are they doing either one of those things, or are they just looking forward to the price and they're curious, not serious? And like, that's one of the things that I've noticed, like with a motivational score and just tracking your lead with that way. Another thing that I've noticed is when it comes down to the conversion of this lead, how good is your conversation? Are you following a sales process? Are you following a script, or are you freestyling? Do you sound sure, or are you just like going with the flow? Because a lot of people, what they tend to do is they don't really maximize a lead. And these are like a couple of things where we talk about maximizing a lead: your conversation, your follow-up. Are you setting tasks for this person? Are you actually just pulling on their situation and trying to help them with their situation, instead of just hearing, oh, well, I can make this much, and then just going with the conversation and talking about price the whole time?
Yeah, and if I can add to that, what you're talking about there is the psychology of the sale.
Yeah.
That's what we talk about in business. When I'm coaching other businesses, I talk about the psychology of the sale.
Yeah.
And this is what I meant, and you just really eloquently laid it out. Every single deal has a behavior.
Yep.
And you have to document that behavior.
Yep.
Because when you go back into it, you will know how to approach it, rather than it being blind and not really knowing what this particular contract, the feel of it is, right? And you said something very powerful right here about understanding if hot, cold, things of that sort. Man, if people would really understand this one point, I think it'll change the game for them.
Yep.
Whenever you're talking to a customer, and we might touch on this later. Yeah. But whenever you're talking to a customer, that customer is going to feed off of what you say and how you talk. Yep. The tonality, the cadence of your speech. Do you, as you were saying, sounding confident? Yep. Or are you unsure, or are you sure? Like these things, this matters when you're talking to the customer, which in turns will affect whether or not that sale is going to be on the plus side or the negative side.
Absolutely. So
I like that. That's really good.
Man. So there's something that I actually wrote here in my notes, not only for you, but for the viewer. If you're looking at this, there's something that I like to call the consistency triangle, because every single thing flows down from like lead flow. Yes. So you have number 1, lead flow. You got number 2, lead conversion. And then you got number 3, lead management. Yeah. So everything flows down from when the leads come in. Yeah. Everything flows down from when the leads come in. So if you do not make sure that you take care of the lead from when it flows in, all the way from making sure that you convert it to managing these leads, I'm telling you, it's going to be hard. So let's talk about that. Like, we got lead flow, right?
Yeah.
We got so many different marketing channels that there is. And forget the marketing channels. Let's just talk about like the lead flow in the aspect of like, all right, when I do get lead flow, what do we do from there? Like what happens when this lead comes in, right? And what happens with us, like we run ads for our leads and stuff like that. So when a lead comes in, we have like a text that goes out directly. It's automated.
Right.
So a text goes out, says, hey, this is Cedric, saying you filled out a form on Facebook. Hey, are you available at this time? So now they're like, man, like these guys are on it. They're fast. They're quick. They texted me already. They really must want to give me an offer. So what we do is we set everything up starting at the lead flow, and then it trickles down from there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we go from lead flow, and you want to make sure that when it comes down to your lead flow, you have a system that makes this process very, very simple for your seller. Meaning, when a lead comes in, as you heard, we basically have an automation set up for this lead, right? So when they first come in, they automatically get a text. Hey, this is Lacedrick, just reaching out to see if, this property is available, whatever the case may be, right? So this is what we like to call the customer journey. How important is a customer journey when a person is going through your process in your system?
Man, listen, the customer's journey is paramount, the most important in any business. If you're not taking care of that customer, you're not taking care of your business.
Yeah.
And this is the way I try to share with people. Look, your business matters, but you don't have a business unless you're taking care of that customer.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? From the point from when they pick up the phone and they dial your number, what are they hearing?
Yep.
Right? To the onboarding, when they start to, come onto your what we like to call the ecosystem.
Yeah.
Right? All of these things, like this, that customer's journey has to be easy, has to feel easy.
Yeah.
It can't be rushed or feel like they're being taken advantage of or they're just another number, right? That customer's journey is important. So when you talked about having a lead flow, and then the very beginning of like, and let's give them some game real quick.
Yeah, absolutely.
What system or maybe one or two would you suggest for a person? Let's just say a person just starting out or probably have been doing this for some time but just don't have that kind of automation.
Absolutely.
What would you suggest to them to be able to do that's easy to get?
I would say Go High Level is like one of the most known CRMs that there is, and like it's very vast, all the way down from automation to websites to calling to literally tracking, reporting, all of that. So one thing that I always suggest is getting Go High Level and learning Go High Level because it's a very vast, robust CRM, and like some people don't like the look of it, but like at the end of the day, it works.
It works,
right? Like it converts, it works, it does everything that you need it to do.
Yes.
So one thing that I would say is get Go High Level.
Yeah.
Go High Level is literally like one of the things that I would suggest. I'll put it down in the description.
You're not getting paid on that, are you?
No.
Are they giving you money for that?
No, they ain't giving me no money on that. No. But Go High Level is one of the things that you want to get because you have the automation.
Yeah.
The second thing that I would say is if you don't have like a lead conversion system, here's how you convert.
Okay.
What you want to do is make sure that when that lead flows in, set up automation for it. Set up a automation for the first 7 days of their journey, right? What does that look like? In my business, what we do is we ended up texting them the very first time that they come in. So as soon as they fill out the form or as soon as they say yes, hey, they get a text message. Hey, this is Cedric, just reaching out to see, is this property still available? Are you available to talk, right? And then from there, the very same day, we place a call out to them. So if they don't respond or anything, hey, no worries. We got a text going out the next day. Hey, just gave you a call yesterday. Just wanted to check in. I see you submitted the form. I just wanted to see if you were still available to sell this property. Boom. And now we're just hitting them back to back to back. And it's something not really too aggressive, but it's aggressive in how many days we're reaching out, but it's not aggressive as in sell me your house, right?
Yeah.
So
urgency without being creepy.
Exactly. So
that's what I always say. Don't show the urgency without being creepy.
Exactly. So if they don't have that, that's what I would suggest y'all get. Set up, what does my customer journey look like now? And how can I fix it with making it better so they can feel better going through the process with me. Because the reason why this matters, because you're not the only person reaching out to this customer.
That's right.
Every person that we talk to that we call a lead, like a lead is a person. And if we don't feed the people and if we don't treat them right, like how can we get successful and get to the next level and get to the next step?
So true.
So set up your customer journey and what that looks like. That's what I would say right there.
Yeah.
So the next thing we got is the lead management side. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. We touched on that a little bit. But
exactly.
Go ahead. I want to hear it.
Managing a lead, right?
Man.
What happens when a lead says no? Like, what if they say no? I don't want your offer.
Yeah.
Then what? Are you just gonna like leave them there in the CRM and just let them go stale?
I always tell people that a no is not a real answer.
Yep.
Most of the time when people say no, it's because of two things. Either they don't have enough information or they don't have enough information about you, right? Because people don't necessarily pay for what you know, they pay for you.
Yep, they pay for what you
say. So it's really you selling yourself and how you make them feel, right? So I always teach, hey, when they tell you no, especially for people who are on the phones, and I don't know how much of this matters to real estate, but when a person is saying no on the phone, the very first thing I tell them is to say, okay, you have to find out what's in that no.
Yeah.
What are they saying no to?
Yeah.
Because you have to dive into that piece to it. So there are some rebuttals that I teach and some other things to kind of turn that no into a yes and all of those things. And this is not the forum for it, but there are some things that should be said and should be done, right, in order to turn that no into a yes. Because that no is really not, at least only in business, y'all. Let me say that only in business. That no is not a real no. It's really a no to something that you said or heard or they heard, or something that you triggered that put them into an alligator brain, that's what I like to call it. You know, that part where it's the survival mode, right? You just triggered them to go back to there. But that you have to find out what's in that no. But no, I never accept the first no, at least the first no.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's why we just follow up and we have, even if they do say no, right? Like we dig into that, but let's just say it's because of price. Like price is one of the things that like are inevitable in real estate. Like some people want their price, whether it's market value, and some people have prices that make sense. Yeah. So, I mean, that's what we got on that. So this next thing I want to talk about is the follow-up blind spot, right? Man.
That's the heavy hitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the heavy hitter.
So most people in business, period, if they're okay in business, they only convert anywhere between 3 to 7% of their pipeline, right? Most people say you want to be at what, about like 10%?
Yeah, depending on the business. Yeah.
So you want to be at about at least 10%, right? Depending on the business, right? When it comes down to follow-up, right? What would the person that's watching this here today say, how can they fix their follow-up? Like, what is something that would be very simple for them to notice, like, where they're weak at in their follow-up and how can they fix it?
It's all about the response of the customer.
Yep.
It's really the response of how your customer is engaging in your messaging. I tell people this, and I really, really hope your viewers take this, is really invest in understanding the message that you give out to your customer. And that is in everything, your branding, it's in your logo, it's in your verbiage, how you talk to a customer on the phone, right? All of these things matter. But specifically in the follow-up, if your messaging is subpar at best, or it's convoluted, or it's too general, too vague, there's no journey that you're taking the customer on, or anything of that sort, they will absolutely put up the guard. That's what I call it. They put up the guard, and they don't want to have anything else to do with it. And that's the customer that you're going to end up calling 5 times.
Yep.
And you get the voicemail all 5 times, right? So that follow-up, you have to make sure that your messaging, when you're communicating, with these customers. I think that's an important piece.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
So, like, from what I hear, from what you're saying, there's a difference between dialing, texting, and emailing.
Yes.
And there's a difference between like a conversation, actually talking about like what matters to them, your messaging, and actually converting this customer.
Absolutely.
There's a total difference. So that's what we do like in our messaging, especially with like when we're reaching out to a customer, ads, automation, it's personalized. It's very, very important that you like ChatGPT is great. ChatGPT is okay. I'm telling you, it's good. But make sure that at least if you're using ChatGPT, it sounds like an actual person. Most people make the mistake of sounding like a robot or making their messaging too broad to where it's not actually speaking to that individual, right? So like with ads, what we do is we actually we call out the person we're looking for. Hey, Mr. Seller, are you tired of being a landlord? Mr. Seller, are you tired of, have you inherited a property?
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
Are you going through a divorce right now and you have a property that you want to sell? Like we actually tweak our messaging to what the person is going through, calling out their pain.
Wow.
So that's what we do in that process right there.
You mentioned ChatGPT, and if I can add this little tidbit in there for your viewers. If you're going to use ChatGPT, and y'all, I've become somewhat of a novice / getting into the intermediate. I would say beginner to intermediate in this ChatGPT game. One of the things that has really helped me is to ask Chat or Claude or Gemini or any of these LLMs to ask you 25 questions about you, about your business, and so that it can learn you and learn your voice, learn your business, learn what you like and what you don't like. That way, when you go to ask it a question, it'll give you that answer based upon the information that you put in. So it's kind of like the old adage, trash in, trash out, right? So before you start using ChatGPT and getting all these different, just very vague, y'all, please take time and learn that ChatGPT, learn, Claude, Gemini, all some of these other ones that are out here, DeepSeek, all these other ones, and really start to learn how to prompt it properly, because it can be a good tool for you, but it also can be the demise of your company, right? Because it can just give you all these vague, as you mentioned, vague speech, this general speech, and all you're doing is copying and pasting it.
Exactly.
And you're wondering why your lead is not coming back to you with some positive things.
And most people add that into their scripts. And then it's like there's a difference between like skill set. And there's a difference between like talent. Right? And
major difference.
One of the things like with, AI, a lot of people are implementing is like implementing it into their
business.
Their business, right? But not only their business, their scripts. So when they say these words, the customer hears that like you don't really sound sure. You don't really know.
You sound like an android.
Exactly. Right, exactly. So like you can't close what you can't control.
Wow.
So like one of the things that this plays into a little bit into conversion, but like when you're talking to a customer, right? What are some things that if a person were on the phone, they would need to look out for so they can make sure that they're playing into the conversion of this lead as opposed to like just talking to a lead and like being unintentional? How can we be more intentional in talking to this lead with your skill, like with a skill set though, instead of talent?
One of the things I always teach, man, and I always preface this by saying that because it's important that people learn the skill set of closing. Thank God for certified closers. Man. The certified closers, shout out. But one of the things that I like to share with closers is that you don't want to do too much talking. You want to ask open-ended questions so that you can understand.
What's an example of that?
I'll give you a perfect example, man. I was just sharing with one of my mentees. She works for a dental office, and she, has her own life insurance company.
Okay, nice.
And we were discussing the importance of listening to the customer so they can tell you what they need in their negative response. They'll tell you what they need. So, for example, she works for a company that make warm calls to people who have visited their dental offices, right? And they have to call and talk to them about how their visit was, and also if they were interested in being put on the dental plan, because the dentist put them on a plan and they want to get them signed up to go farther into the plan. And one of the things that she did was she kept saying to the customer, she would say to the customer after they give a negative, what we like to call an objective, she would just stop and it'd be over with, right? As opposed to listening to it and then responding to it. Now, let me tell you what I teach. This is for your viewers, okay? When you're talking to your customer and they give you a no answer or they give you a rebuttal, an objection of, why they don't want to do something or et cetera, always ask them a question like this. Well, let me ask you, what is going to happen 3 months, 6 months, even 9 months from now if nothing ever changes for you in this? If nothing ever changes and we're looking at 3, 6, 9 months down the road, what does that mean for you, right? And so I told her to use that close.
That's a lot of things that most people are like afraid to say.
Yeah, they are afraid to do a rebuttal, right? And so she did it. And she was only, I got the text message, wherever my phone is. I got the text message. She went from one day, she was only doing like maybe one close, right? And I taught her like 3 or 4 of those. She went from one close to having 5 closes in one day. And I think on Friday, she told me she actually had 6, but it was a Spanish barrier. So she couldn't really break through the Spanish barrier or she would have had 6 closes, and she's never had 6 in a day, right? It's because, and I told her, you have to understand your lead. They've already been there. They're warm, right? So if they're telling you these things, listen to them and then respond. And so I gave her those 3 things, man. But you're spot on it, man. That skill set of understanding to listen to your lead. And that's how you're going to be able to close them. That's an example of that.
And that's one way, like right there, with how you can convert right there alone just by listening. Because like that's what most people don't do. They don't have, like, that's a skill set if you ask me.
It's true.
You have to listen, not to respond, but to hear what does this person really need?
That's right.
Like, why does this person really want to sell? What's going on? Are they moving away from pain or towards pleasure? Like, what are they doing? So that's one way they can listen. One way you can convert today is by listening to your customer instead of listening to respond. So that's one way. Let's talk about another way, right quick. Let's talk about not what people say, but how people say it. Somebody could you could literally say, hey, why do you want to sell this? And it feel like an interrogation. Or you could say, hey, I'm just curious why. I'm just curious, what has you considering the thought of selling this? Not why, but what.
You want to ask what questions.
Exactly. So like in this, what I have learned is that when you ask questions as an interrogation, like why and using those kinds of words instead of like a what, that can literally be the difference between you closing a deal and not. Because some people have thin skin and they can get offended just by that right there alone. So you got that right there. One more thing I want to cover real quick. If somebody wanted to close a deal today, let's give them a framework.
Let's do it, man.
Let's give them a framework on if they wanted to close a deal, how could they go through it, navigate a conversation, and what are parts that they want to touch on, right?
Let's do it.
So let's start with intro.
Okay.
With a intro, what I have found is you want to say it with energy, the same way, the same exact time, because when there's so many people that go through, courses, mentorships, video, whatever the case may be, and they're always switching up their script, and they really lose their self, and they don't know how to do it. So like one of the ways that I introduce myself to all customers is, hey, this is Lacedrick. I'm just reaching out to see, or hey, John, this is Cedric here. How you doing today? Exact same way every single time. What is the wrong way somebody could do it?
Sounding like a robot.
Yep.
I mean, literally, like, I mean, there's many things that you can say that'll sound crazy and things of that sort, but it's really the tonality. It really is, especially in your intro. Because the first 5 seconds of your conversation, they're going to determine whether or not this person is here to harm me, to scam me, or to take advantage of me.
True.
So that first 5 seconds of that conversation, you can eliminate that literally just with your tone. And I talk about a lot of things back, up tones and down tones, and I'm not going to get into all that. But up tones, down tones, what it means to have a concerned tone, an excited tone, all of these things. But you certainly want to come in with energy. And I teach that too, man. I'm like, listen, when you're talking to the customer, the first thing, put a mirror in front of your face and smile, right? And when you pick up the phone, that customer says hello. Hey, this is Kenneth over here at...
Boom.
You know what I'm saying?
It.
Yeah. That has been from... I used to do cold calling for, I hope they don't get me, this place called Silver Leaf Resorts. It's a timeshare.
Okay.
This is way back in the 90s, right? And, they would always say, smile and dial, right? And so I kept that because that actually works, to smile when you're talking to a customer. And as you're talking to them, you'll find that energy that you're putting out, they're going to feel it. For sure. True. So I absolutely. It's the tonality, it's the energy that you're bringing when you first come on the phone.
So that's intro. Now we got conversation. A lot of people, when it comes down to conversation, they get stuck and they don't know what to say. Like when I'm asking them their why or their motivation, the reason why they make this decision, like why, like how. What is the best way to do this and say this, and how do I ask it, and then how do I keep the conversation going? Because in like real estate, we'll say, hey, what has you considering the thought of selling? And then after that, they're like, okay, well, I don't know what else to say.
Wow.
And one thing that I always like to do is I like to ask, hey, what do you mean by that when you say?
Absolutely.
Because it's an open-ended question.
Yeah, and you're engaging them. That's the piece. Whenever they give you the statement, now you have to engage them. And another thing that I teach on this is as you talk about an engagement, you listen for them, and if they say something like, and I think I've heard a couple of conversations of yours. They'll say something like, it's just painful. I can't handle this. It's just painful. I'm ready to be done. And you'll do it. And I hear you say it. Painful? And all you asked is all you did was hit. What you did, you heightened the pain. Because now they're finna go into, in their brain, they're going into this pain part of their brain. And that's where you want them.
Exactly.
Right? You want them to, and it's sad because you don't want them to feel pain, but you want them to remember the why. And so it separates the excuse as to, I don't want to do it, to, I really want to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So just exactly what you said, engage them. When they say what they say, listen to them. And if they mention the pain, if they mention something that bothers them, say exactly what they said in a concerned tone. Just be like, you're getting a divorce? Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a long story. I really don't want to deal. And that has you considering selling the house. I just don't, it's I don't want to, they're going to go into another long. So absolutely. It's all about engagement.
Absolutely. So in that, that gives us like the conversational part. So there's a 3-part framework that I talk about is conversation, clarity, and contract.
I love that.
So we go into the conversation, which is going to give us clarity on what we need, because they're going to give us everything we need if we actually listen, right? And once we listen to that and we got the clarity, then becomes the transformation of what we have, which we got contract. We go for the contract and we say, hey, here's the agreement, here's the offer, right? So most people get caught up in literally not selling the transformation.
I love that.
Like, what is the real end goal right here? Where are we going?
For the customer.
Exactly. What is the end goal for this customer? I think that's very important to make sure that we talk about this transformation, because if we're not guiding them to the transformation, like, it's kind of like when you're framing a conversation, they're looking at it out of a picture frame. If you're not talking and guiding them towards the end goal and you're just talking to talk, you're talking about you, it's not about you, it's about them.
Absolutely.
So if you focus on them more, you'll absolutely get what you want in the end.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So this last thing here, we got something called the WIN framework, right? Where a person is right now for the viewer, where you are right now, the issue you're facing, and the next step that you must take. Right?
I like that. Yeah.
So if you're stuck in your real estate business and you are at the point where you are putting in the work, you're generating the leads, you're doing everything that you feel like you're supposed to be doing, what I want you to do is look at exactly where you are now. Write down the mistakes you feel like you are making and the things that you are falling short on, right? And what I always like to do is take a person where they are and then expand, like, all right, because of time, right? But so what I always like to do is take a person from where they are and then break down the issue that they're facing and then guide them to where they need to be.
That's
right.
Key. Yeah.
So if there's somebody out here that is struggling with your real estate business, write down exactly what you need, where you are right now. Hey, I'm making $10,000 a month. Hey, I'm making $5,000 a month. Hey, I'm not making anything per month, right? And what I always like to do is introduce where you are, like, what issues are you having? Like, hey, I'm not getting enough leads. My quality of leads are not there. I don't have a follow-up system, whatever the case may be. And then they could build that out. Like, you should build that out and explain, like, that's going to show you exactly where you are and where you need to be right there.
Yeah. You know what I found most of the times, Lacedrick, that most people don't know how to diagnose their business. They don't know how to, because they don't have the proper metrics, they don't have KPIs, they don't have anything to kind of measure the barometer, measure their success. They don't know where they're going.
Yeah.
And they don't know where they've been because they don't have proper tracking. And so, and this is not condemnation. Basically, this is kind of a wake-up call, if you will, to get a framework to understand how to diagnose your business so you can know what you need. Some people just don't even know what they need.
Yeah.
Some people, they know that they're getting the leads, but they don't understand why.
Yeah.
Why they're not making money. They don't understand why, the lead is telling them no all the time.
Yeah.
They just don't have the proper metrics to gauge success or failure, right? And so I love that WIN framework is understand where you are.
Yep.
And when you are there and you're diagnosing where you are, you need to figure out at that point what's working and what's not working, and then put the proper metrics there.
Yep.
And that's really simple to do.
Yep.
I always tell people, look, chat is an extremely valuable source.
Yeah.
To ask, hey, based upon, and put your favorite real estate guru there. I would put Lacedrick Brantley on that. And, as Lacedrick Brantley, what is a framework that I can use to gauge what's wrong in my real estate business? And it'll put out, some good metrics there to help you to find out what's going on with your business.
And how you can do it. Like
and how to do it. Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
That's very important. So that framework right there is like one of the major things that changed everything for my business.
Wow,
generated us over $1 million in my business
Good
and
stuff.
literally taking us to the next level. So if you don't know where you are and where you're going, you're going to be stuck, and you need to know how to diagnose that and break that down in your business. So yeah, that's what we got.
That's good stuff, man. This was fun, man. I love this.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
This was fun.
But yeah, I know you learned something from this conversation here. I appreciate you for joining us here today. I'm telling you, this is going to be phenomenal. Listen, If you are not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe, like, comment, and just comment your favorite part of what you took away from this conversation here today. And like always, we'll see you on the next conversation.